He smiled when I handed him the keys, that smug, practiced smile that never reached his eyes. My daughter stood beside him, small and tired, her hands clasped like a child apologizing for something she didn't do. Behind us, the villa shimmered in the sunlight, marble glowing white. I told them it was a gift, a new beginning. He thanked me, his arm tight around her waist. That was the last time he looked at me without fear. The next morning, I found out he had moved his entire family in. Parents, 2 sisters, and a cousin who'd never worked a day in his life. My daughter called, whispering through tears. "Mama, they said it's our home now. He says I should treat them like family." Family. The word tasted rotten on my tongue. I remembered the first day I met him, humility wrapped around him like a costume. A cheap suit, polite words, 2 perfect manners. He called me mother far too soon, and I let it slide. My daughter glowed around him, and I mistook that glow for happiness. I told myself he had kind eyes. But they weren't kind. They were calculating. After the wedding, it started small. He'd speak for her, correct her, mock her softly, like it was a joke. Every time I visited, I saw less of her in her own home. Her photos gone, her books boxed away, to make space. By the time I realized how quiet she had become, he had already built a cage around her and called it marriage. The bruises didn't show on her skin, they lived in her spirit. She stopped meeting my eyes. Her laughter, once sharp and bright, turned hollow. When I asked if she was happy, she smiled like she was afraid to offend me with the truth. I didn't press. Not yet. The night she called about the villa, something inside me snapped. Not loud, not violent, just a clean, silent break. I didn't cry. I didn't shout. I planned. Men like him mistake kindness for weakness, patience for permission. He thought he'd won because I gave him the house, that he'd humiliated me by turning my gift into his throne. What he didn't know was that every stone in that villa belonged to me, every clause in that trust tied back to my name. I began to gather threads quietly. Her name came off the deed. His never went on. The staff? Hired by me. The accounts? Funded by me. The security cameras I installed for safety? They recorded everything. Every insult, every cruel smirk, every dish his mother made her wash. Evidence. I told my lawyer not to hurry. Revenge, like tea, needs time to steep. 3 months later, I invited them for dinner. He arrived dressed like a king in someone else's castle. His mother followed, dripping judgment with every glance. My daughter came last, wearing a smile that didn't belong to her. We ate in silence. I poured the wine, poured too much, smiled too little. Then I pressed play. The first video filled the big screen. Her face, her voice, his words. The way he cornered her, mocked her, made her beg for dignity in her own home. The table went still. His fork slipped from his hand. His mother began to stammer. This must be a misunderstanding. I raised my hand. Please. Watch. Clip after clip, each one sharper than the last. My daughter cried silently, her tears steady. When it ended, I slid an envelope across the table. Eviction notices, lawsuit drafts, financial audits. Every lie, every transfer, every stolen thing, traced and documented. You see, I said softly, I never gave you the villa. I loaned it, and you've defaulted. He tried to speak, but I didn't let him. The staff knows. The neighbors know. The police will too. You have until tomorrow to leave. Without a word to her. Without taking a single thing. He jumped up, red-faced, shouting about his rights. I smiled. You forfeited those when you made my daughter your servant. Then I walked away. His mother's sobs trailed behind me, poetic, almost musical. The next morning, my daughter showed up barefoot at my door. Free. She didn't say much. She didn't need to. We sat on the porch as the sun rose. From a distance, I watched the villa, silent, gleaming, empty again. By noon, they were gone. Now she lives with me, healing, slowly, softly. Her laughter is returning, faint at first, then stronger. As for him, he avoids this part of town. Good. Because every time I pass that villa, I remember the look on his face when his own cruelty lit up the screen. And that moment alone was worth every brick, every penny, every plan. Sometimes revenge doesn't need fire or blood. Sometimes it just needs truth, served at the perfect time.